Welcome to the Worst of the Riot podcast. Coming up, why you shouldn't file for divorce at Burger King.
Also, the best place to be trapped overnight and more on the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Isaiah, tell me if you think this is statistically significant that a new study has found that when restaurants put emojis on their receipts or with the tip suggestions, people tip on average about 10, 11, 12% more than without emojis.
I don't know if that's doing much for me, emojis.
Is that meaningful?
I don't know that I've seen a lot of emojis on tips.
You're probably about to, because it would increase tips so much, apparently.
Not for me.
Now, when you see the initial headline, when I was seeing this initial story, I was thinking 10%. So people are going from 20% to 30%
No
tips
way.
just because they see the emojis. But no, they tip 10% more, which I guess still isn't exactly clear. They found that, like, if you were at a sit-down restaurant, then the average tip without an emoji was 22.86%, and the average tip with an emoji is 25.38%, an 11% increase, 11% more than the 22%.
Gotcha.
So that it's less of a jump. And so I see that and I'm like, is that even meaningful? But it was across the board, whether you were at a full service restaurant, whether you were getting a food delivery, or they actually saw the biggest jump for people who did takeout and had an emoji presented to them when they were asked to tip.
Yeah, the emoji's not doing anything. I can tell you right now, nobody cares about that darn emoji.
The numbers say otherwise.
That's nothing.
It wouldn't do anything for you.
Like, you think there's somebody out there that's like, oh, there's an emoji, I probably should tip.
I don't think it's conscious. I think they just see it, and I mean, I wonder if it depends on what the emoji is. If it's an angry face, would that make you tip more because you're like, oh, they're mad at me because I'm not tipping enough? Or if it's a happy face, it's like, oh, I'm happy, they're happy, let me tip more. I don't know if there's an optimal emoji to use. If it's a cactus, well, what do you do with that? I don't know. So, but I just think it's a subconscious thing.
I don't think it's doing anything, but I will say, if you wanted to do something, what you need to do is have, like, the maddest face, the maddest emoji at 10%. And then, like, a slightly disgruntled face at 20%. Even though 20% is, like, the typical tipping.
Right.
Put a slightly disgruntled face there.
Yeah, like the slanty mouth.
Yeah, and then, like, 30%, then you're getting, like, a thumbs up. And then, like, 40%, you're getting, like, some sort of really happy face.
The biggest smile there is. But, yeah, you go back down to 10%, and it's the face that has, like, the cursing in front of it.
Yes.
Because they're, like, mad. They're so mad
They're
at you.
so angry.
Yeah.
And 20% is, like, not satisfied.
Yeah. I like that idea. If we're going to do this, let's go all the way with this.
So what were they doing? They're just putting an emoji on your receipt? Like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
They really are attributing anything to that?
Yeah, I mean,
do we even read what's on our receipt? Nobody even looks at it. You look at what the price, the total is, and a couple things you got on it. There's a bunch of other stuff no one even looks at.
Yeah.
Along with that stupid emoji they put on there.
It's too much, but do you know what, though? Then the emoji would stand out in all that gobbledygook of grayness if you had a bright-colored emoji.
And what is that doing? Like, who's tipping? 4-year-olds? Like, you think a grown man is going to look at that emoji and be like, I better give 10 more %?
That's what happened. I don't know what to tell you. This is a, I'm seeing here, it looks like they may have just drawn on the emoji in some cases. Like, by hand. We've all experienced that before.
You're talking about when they say thank you and put a smiley face?
Yes. Apparently that works. It's that simple.
I've had people do that.
Yeah. And apparently you must have tipped more.
Didn't tip more, brother.
The numbers don't lie.
Do yourself a favor and follow The Riot on Instagram at RadioU Riot.
It's useless knowledge.
It's time for some useless knowledge. I'm going to ask you guys some questions. You all are going to answer. And if you get the questions right, you win absolutely nothing. It's National Girl Scout Day.
One of your favorite days.
Have you ever Girl Scouted?
How would that even be possible?
Didn't know if you ever part of a Boy Scout group.
Oh, well, you didn't ask that.
Girl Scout group.
No, I didn't. I did something called similar caravan.
Caravan.
Yeah.
You're a caravaner.
Yeah.
Is that like a group?
Caravan was like Boy Scouts, but it was at church.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
How many cookies did you sell?
Oh, he didn't sell cookies.
No wonder I've never heard of it. All right, the first Girl Scouts ever were not known as Girl Scouts at all. They had a different name. Came out in England.
England, eh?
And England's where it all started.
Uh-huh.
And society as a whole disapproved of them.
They didn't like the Girl Scouts.
Well, they didn't like anything that women did back then.
Got it. So what we're asking what the name of the original Girl Scouts.
What was the original Girl Scout name?
You have a time frame for this?
I believe it was 1917.
Okay.
It was when they came around.
Mm-hmm.
And yet again, I don't know how society disapproved of a group of 8-year-old girls running around selling cookies, but they did.
All right. Well, I'm gonna figure this out. 8772-RadioU if you think you know the answer to today's useless knowledge question of the day. Whether you get it right or wrong, you won't win anything. We'll find out what the truth is coming up next.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
In the midst of a useless knowledge, today's theme is all about the Girl Scouts. And Isaiah has your useless knowledge question of the day.
The first Girl Scouts ever were not known as Girl Scouts at all. Back in England, around like 1917. But much of society disapproved of them, as there were concerns about the girls being overly athletic or indulging in sports, games, or outdoor activities that were not appropriate for their gender at the time.
Wow.
So they were not fans of the original Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
We had some people text in, and some people have texted in the name correctly. Maybe some previous Girl Scouts, I don't know.
It feels like something they could teach in the Girl Scout history, probably on day one, perhaps. But impressive that you would remember that, if that's when you did learn it. Maybe these are Girl Scout leaders.
Could be.
I am going to guess it just feels right. It feels like something they would call like a group of young girls. I'm going to just say the Puffins.
The Puffins.
Yeah.
The answer I was looking for was Girl Guides. Doesn't
Why'd they change
good,
it?
I don't know.
Why'd they change it? I mean, it's
I
better.
like Girl Scouts
it's better now. Yeah.
They actually they had Boy Scouts, and then they matched the boys.
Oh, they copied.
And guess what? The boys, they were not happy. Rapid fire. When a Girl Scout recites the Girl Scouts promise, she's to hold up which fingers?
I don't know what they're called. The pinky, and then the
Wait
middle.
for it. Here it comes.
The middle three. The middle three fingers.
So not the pinky or thumb.
No,
Got
pinky or thumb.
Got
just
it.
the middle three fingers.
I was thinking the outside three.
How about this one? Girl Scouts have gone on to become very successful in one specific line of work. Which line of work is this? What job have they dominated?
I don't want to be.
Yep.
Nurses? What?
That would make sense.
It would.
Astronauts, Hudson. Astronauts.
How did I not know that?
Over 20 Girl Scouts have gone on to become astronauts. Also, Catherine Sullivan, the first ever American woman to perform a spacewalk, was a Girl Scout.
Wow. I didn't even know there was that many astronauts.
Yeah, that many. They're all Girl Scouts. You have to be a Girl Scout. How about in Philly back in 1933, where the first official sale took place of a box of Girl Scout cookies? How much could you get a box for?
Oh, 1933. A nickel?
23 cents. Or
wow.
You could get 6 boxes for $1.24.
They were expensive even then.
Mm-hmm.
For the time, it seems. I don't know. All right. Happy Girl Scouts Day. Wonder if we have any. We actually do have any Girl Scouts listening right now.
Well, if we do, I haven't really had many cookies this season. I didn't get my hands on
So we're looking
any.
for a seller, is what you're saying.
I am, yes.
Yeah, we've got a buyer here.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Got a news update for you. A man has been arrested in Green Bay, Wisconsin, after causing a disturbance. The man's name, D's Nuts.
What did he say?
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
He may be a joke of a man, but his legal name is D's Nuts.
Is that like a first name?
Yes. His full name is D's Nuts Kroll, if that makes it better.
How old is he? This will tell me all I need to know. If he's older than the age of like
Wait, there's an age where it's okay?
Yes,
to have
because
the name D's Nuts.
if he's over the age of like 20 years old tops, probably, maybe even younger than that, that means that he had to have changed his name to this.
Oh, so it would be, if it's not his fault, if his parents named him D's Nuts.
Yeah, if his parents named him this, then obviously this kid was set up for failure. I have a little bit of sympathy. If he's over the age of 20, he changed his name to this, and he was meant for this.
He's 42 years old.
Okay, well then,
And
he has no excuse that he changed his name.
he did change his name, and to make matters worse, he has changed his name twice. He initially changed his name to D's Nuts several years ago, but later realized he had made a spelling error, so he had to go back and change it properly to D's Nuts, the way it is now.
If you were to change your name,
Mm-hmm.
you'd make sure that you spell it right.
I love that he changed his name
You
to
didn't even
D's
Google
Nuts. He has second thoughts. He's like, it's not that I shouldn't have changed my name to D's Nuts, but I just should have spelled it differently. What was I thinking? How foolish of me.
How did he spell it the first time?
I don't, that we may never have the answer to, but.
What did he do? Okay, now what did he do?
It was D's Nuts had a gun. This is going back a few days. The neighbors had called the police on D's Nuts, and when the officers got to the scene, 2 people were brought to a squad car and placed in the back. Officers took D's Nuts into custody. Apparently, he had threatened somebody with a gun. It was an altercation over a phone. And it may have been with his, if I'm looking at this right, may have been with his child. So not good.
Baby in hand?
Yeah.
I'm seeing BB gun. Is this BB gun?
He had a BB gun.
Okay,
yeah, it wasn't
BB
a
gun.
full-on gun.
Okay, BB gun's
Do you
a little
think
better.
they trust D's Nuts with an actual firearm?
I was about to say, imagine going to get a gun and you have to sign for it.
Yeah.
And you write D's
To
Nuts.
get your permit?
Yes.
And you wouldn't. But this guy, he's 42 years old. He's had the name D's Nuts for years. I imagine that's just a common occurrence for him. Anytime he buys alcohol, anytime he buys cigarettes, anytime he gets carded whatsoever, they're like, this is fake.
Like,
This is
imagine him.
What kind of prank are you trying to pull here? And he's like,
imagine
my
this guy.
life is a prank. My life is a joke.
Imagine
is
him
what he would say.
introducing him to your parents,
Mm-hmm.
a friend, shaking his hand. Okay, yeah, nice to meet you, I'm Isaiah. Nice to meet you, Isaiah. I'm D's Nuts. I'd be like, oh, it's funny.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, no, that's my name.
But do you think he changed it because he thought it was funny?
He maybe in the beginning thought it was funny. Is it still
He
funny to
stuck
him
with
now?
it. He changed it twice to correct the spelling.
Do you think he still thinks
He's-
it's funny whenever someone says it to him, right?
I think he likes it.
He
I
likes
think
the
he's comfortable
attention.
with it. He changed his name twice. He could clearly do it a third time if he didn't still enjoy it. If he didn't enjoy being called D's Nuts. I'm surprised, and you go make a vanity license plate. We see the lists all the time. There's certain license plates that get denied. Does that not happen with names?
You would think it.
Nobody at the office of wherever you go to get your name changed. Nobody was like, no, you can't do this.
They really signed off on that.
Twice they did. Well, fortunately, D's Nuts is now in custody.
You don't always have to agree with Isaiah to always disagree with Hudson. The Riot. Radio U.
Isaiah, you're on a diet right now.
I am.
You stuck with it, even though yesterday you mentioned over the weekend that you fell flat on your face with it.
I did.
Do you count that as falling flat on your face? You said you just ate a ton of dessert.
A lot of dessert. It's a progress, a diet is. You can't win every day. You got to lose sometimes.
That's true.
I can accept a failure on a Sunday. It was my grandmother's 90th birthday.
Yeah, what are
I'm
you
allowed to
supposed
pop
to do?
off.
What are you supposed to do? Just stand there and not eat all of the baked goods? That'd
Exactly.
be
She would want me
ridiculous.
to.
Yeah.
That would be disrespectful.
What do you mean she would? She was there.
Exactly.
She wants you
She
to.
wants me to. She
Yeah.
wanted me to.
Do you think this though? Because I've been dieting too, and I've heard other people say this too recently. I don't know why this keeps coming up, but that like if you have a day like that where earlier in the day you wind up eating something that is gonna like shoot you over your calorie deficit or over your carb limit or whatever it is, that then the rest of the day it's like all of a sudden it becomes no holds barred. Like there's a fork in the road. Maybe you start the day with IHOP. And it's like, well, I could still stick on kind of the diet the rest of the day. But then again, and you could do your best, even though you might not hit your calorie count, you could still, keep the same mindset. Or the fork in the road where you go, well, I've already messed up today. Might as well just go all out.
I've heard that.
Yeah. You feel that?
I disagree with that.
You do?
Yes. I disagree with that. But I know people do that.
Yeah.
I've done that before. You shouldn't do that.
I feel like that's normally what I wind up doing, which is why I don't lose weight as fast as I wish I could. But, we had a dietitian on the show recently. It's so helpful to have. You can check that out on the RadioU Riot YouTube channel, Facebook page. It's so helpful to have a dietitian, I feel, because they all, like many of them will be there for you whenever. So you can go off the rails in the morning and then be like, hey, I need some, what should I do the rest of the day? And they'll tell you to eat healthy the rest of the day. Like, to eat the right way. That's the better thing to do to keep you. The more you keep the right mindset, the better. Even though we definitely agree on this. Sometimes you gotta go all out. Sometimes you do have to have those days to make it bearable for you. But generally, you want to keep that right mindset, and having somebody, it doesn't even have to be a dietitian, but just somebody that a lot of people, it's their significant other that's dieting with them, that keeps you focused so that you don't go off the rails too often and wind up completely ruining the diet too often. But if you have that mindset of, well, once I mess up once, it just spirals out of control. I think that's pretty natural. And I think a lot of us have that, not just when it comes to food, but when it comes to other stuff too. Like there's so many cases of people that they make a few maybe bad choices, stuff that's not even that bad, but it winds up being, well, I've done this, now I do this, and then it spirals out of control. And then the next thing you know, your life is in a completely different place than where you wanted it to be. Jesus can come in and be like that dietitian, and be like that friend, that support system that says, hey, yeah, you might have made a mistake earlier on, but it's still, let's keep the right mindset. Let's stay on the right path. And when it comes to dieting too, I always think, even if I mess up one day, the next day it's a fresh start. I can go crazy yesterday, but today is a fresh start. And that's what God gives you every single day. A fresh start, a clean slate where it's starting over. You don't have to worry about what's happened in the past because Jesus is there loving you that day. And he's going to do that for you every single day, the rest of your life, as long as you're ready for it. Say, hey, God, I want that. I want to know more. I want to feel that. And he'll give it to you. You want to know more? Check out RadioU.com/free gift.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. RadioU.
Let us know your verdict on this one. 8772-RadioU. The defendant in question, Jesus Lopez. He's 41 years old. A alleged con man. One of the things he's in trouble for right now is posing as a lawyer, a divorce lawyer. In August of last year, he met with a person seeking a divorce lawyer at a Burger King.
That's not a good place to look.
According to police, Jesus Lopez told the person that he was worked for at a local law firm and asked this individual seeking a divorce for $500 to initiate divorce proceedings. Later on, he met with the person again at the same Burger King and requested another $2,500 to continue with the divorce. And that was, by the way, a day later. You needed $500 to start. 1 day later, $2,500 more to continue this, to keep this divorce rolling. Then later, at the very end of the month, the Jesus Lopez met with the victim again. This time, Jesus Lopez requested another $2,500 for legal services and later requested another $800. So in total, he received $6,300 from this individual seeking a divorce. That person presumably never got those divorce papers filed, at least by this guy.
And how did you find Jesus? How do you get your hands on a man like this?
This is what I'm questioning. How did this is why I'm wondering, how much can you really hold Jesus at fault here when some individual seeking a divorce thought, yeah, divorce lawyers would meet me at a Burger King. That checks out. And need $500 cash up front. Makes sense. $2,500 on, and the person gave $6,300 before they finally realized, oh, this divorce isn't going anywhere. Why am I still married?
But I could see it being confusing.
Yeah. Granted, I've never gone through any divorce of any kind, so I don't know.
Well,
Maybe.
if you're only meeting once a day at Burger King and you're like, how's it going? He's like, you know what? It's going pretty good.
Yeah.
We're in talks.
Uh-huh.
We're going to continue this work. Just keep on giving me money.
Yeah.
And I'll update you tomorrow on how this is going. But I'll tell you this much, you're going to be divorced pretty soon.
Yeah, you just keep that going. Keep that going for several days. It's coming along, the divorce. We will get there. We'll get there one day. But this is not the only incident that Jesus Lopez has been accused of. Apparently, he also posed as a car salesman and requested $1,500 from somebody trying to sell them a Chevy Impala that he had no rights to sell. Looks like there's a jail bail incident as well. So Jesus Lopez seems to have quite the track record with the law.
So the you be the judge here seems guilty.
It seems guilty, but is there like I don't know how it works in courts. Is there like an asterisk?
Not usually. It's either jail or not jail.
Yeah. Do you take
what
it?
would your asterisk be?
Do you take it easy on him because he obviously it seems like he had a dumb victim?
He had three different accounts of being a fake something.
Yeah.
He tried to bail one person sent out of jail.
Uh-huh.
He also was a divorce lawyer.
Yeah, fake divorce lawyer.
A fake car salesman. He faked being a lawyer twice.
Yeah.
To two different people who gave him thousands of dollars. Seems as if this is a pretty obvious, brother, you're going to jail for a minute.
Yeah, I guess.
You got to learn.
Guilty.
Jesus.
Yeah, he needs to be taught a lesson.
Maybe he needs to stop faking jobs and get a real one. That's what I would say. Become a car salesman. You seem like you can convince me of a lot of things.
Exactly. He clearly has the tools for it.
You got some talents, brother.
He's got the personality.
Stop wasting them.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Hudson, I was looking at TikTok yesterday. One of my favorite things that came across my feed was a bunch of people talking about things that are going to disappear when boomers disappear.
That's a morbid thought.
It is a morbid thought.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting. Boomers, the age between, I think, 60 and like 73.
Uh-huh.
And they were talking about things that they're like loyal to using that a lot of other people are not.
Okay.
So
Such
obviously,
as?
off the top of the head, we're going to think like phone books.
Yeah.
Landlines.
Uh-huh.
Fax machines. Some people said checkbooks. That checkbooks seem like a stretch.
Yeah.
But I can see that.
Yeah, that actually feels like one of the ones that hasn't died off quite as much as some of the other things you just mentioned, but that feels like it will.
A couple other ones they named. Owning things, not subscribing to them. Like movies.
That's good.
Like when boomers pass away.
Yeah.
And we have very few of them left. Will anyone own a movie? I know Moneybags will.
Yeah, that's right.
He says that he owns every movie you know.
Yeah, that's right.
But there's a lot of things like that are going away. One of the other ones that I love the people listed, and my parents have these. I don't know that I will ever own them unless they give them to me.
Yeah.
China sets that are used very few times a year.
Wow, yeah.
Like I know the ones that my parents have. I think my grandparents had first.
Uh-huh.
And we break them out for like Christmas,
Uh-huh.
Thanksgiving, maybe Easter.
Yeah.
And those are the only times that we use like the fancy dishes.
Do you ever have a time where somebody's like, oh, this is a special occasion, let's get out the china, and then somebody else is like, whoa.
Easy.
Yeah, come on.
Are you crazy?
This isn't that special of an occasion.
But yeah, that's a big one that like, will you ever own that? Like, will you ever own that china set?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the ones, though, it does feel just, I don't know, it feels fancy. I don't know if it feels like, is that a boomer thing, or is that just like, we're not flush with cash like that to have a fancy set of dinnerware that we only bring out once a year.
Because it's not even like you went to the store and bought something fancy.
Yeah.
It's like your parents handed that down to you. It's also old.
Or
like
I think that's a wedding gift. There was a wedding gift a lot. Yeah.
Like the ones that my parents have, there's no way that those dishes are made anymore. Like there's nothing similar to that dishware. I swear by it. There's no way that those plates are made.
Uh-huh.
And so that's one of the many ones. There's a bunch of other ones they listed, but those are some of the top ones that I liked of things that may be disappearing in our lives.
Yeah. I think, I need to think about this a little bit, but I think this would be a good question to open up to the Riot Hotline.
877-2-RADIO-U.
And take some time to think about it. Time for people to chime in with what they think might die out as boomers die out. It's sad to think of boomers dying out in some ways, but
they still have a long way to go.
If they're 60 to 73, yeah, I guess.
They have plenty of time.
I guess so. 877-2-RADIO-U. What do you think is going to go away as boomers tend to go away as well?
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Got a question going here. What is something that will die out as, man, I don't like that phrasing. What's something that's going to go away as boomers go away?
Or
in
things
time?
that are just slowly disappearing right now.
Yeah, slowly fading away as the generation that propelled their success is slowly going away. We had Chuck get in. Chuck says he thinks cash is going to go away. And I might add on to that, because you said checkbooks earlier. What if just like physical banks go away? They're already like, you barely go to an ATM, right? If you've ever gone in a physical bank as of late, way different than when you were to go, like for me, when I had to go along with my mom when I was a child. The banks look way different now. Like there's way less people there. There's never a line. It just feels like the type of thing that like they'll have banks will still exist. Obviously they'll have offices, but it's not going to be, you're just not going to have a bank on every corner. Like it's been for, I mean, almost as long as probably this country has existed.
Well, if there's no cash and there's no checkbooks.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the reason that people go to the bank.
Yeah, and like so many, like, applying for a loan. You just do that on your phone. You don't even need to go to a bank anymore. So, they become more and more unnecessary to have any physical structure that is a bank. Ben said cable TV. You think that's true? Or are we slowly sliding back towards cable TV being a thing again?
That's a really tough one.
Yeah.
That's a really hard one to say. I don't know where I stand on cable TV currently. I don't know where I stand on the whole streaming thing currently.
Yeah. But it feels like with some of the bundles that are being offered, we are making our way back to what obviously won't be cable, but it'll be the same. It feels like the same end product, just delivered in a different way. Stephanie says the furniture hutch. What does that exactly mean?
I looked up furniture hutch.
Uh-huh.
And I can't be sure how to even describe these things. It's like a cabinet.
A hutch that contains what?
Clocks. Drawers, shelves.
Yeah.
It's like a big cabinet.
Chuck chimed in saying newspapers as well. That's good. Those are already, they definitely feel like they're on the way out. And while obviously news still continues on online, it's in a different form and brought to you by a much different, like different companies that aren't the traditional newspapers. How every town used to have the small town newspaper. That's not going to be a thing anymore.
Which is a darn shame.
Is it?
Yes.
When was the last time you read a newspaper?
I read a newspaper last Wednesday.
You did?
Yep, because I was getting my hair cut. I sat down at the barber shop. Guess what they had? The newspaper.
Well,
But it is taken away from some things. Like if you think about your local sports team, your high school sports team.
Yeah.
No high schoolers are getting interviewed
mm-hmm.
to be in the newspaper, the local newspaper. That was a big deal when you were playing high school sports. You made it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Now I guess it's online. They still have the newspapers online, but it's not the same.
Yeah, definitely not the same. 70 clarified on the furniture hut. She said it's a cabinet for china or anything fancy you'd use a few times a year. So, I mean, if the china's going away, so is the china cabinet, the furniture hut.
Glenn says they're just finishing building 3 new banks in his town.
Wow.
Shove it, how he says. He's not ready to let them. Everybody's still using cash. No wonder.
Yeah, I guess.
Checkbooks are still a thing.
For now. The other thing I was thinking of, and this is a little more, it's less definite, but I just think politicians, the way they are, because I think like the old school politicians, you think of some of the older ones that are retiring now, not the older ones that are running for president, the older ones that are retiring now, just a way different attitude than the new people that are coming in and being elected. The older ones like feel like they're like them or hate them. It feels like they're there to get a job done, and they know all the the legal mumbo jumbo. The people now want to be on they come up in social media. They want to be politicians, but they want to be stars for it. I think that's the attitude of politicians is going to be way different now.
It just depends on how they grow. Everybody's going to get old, and it all just changes. Right now, What are the young politicians? Who are they supposed to be catering towards? You think they're going to be able to get the older people's votes?
Yeah.
No, they're catering towards young people.
Right.
As you get older, it's harder to cater to the young people. And so you start to cater to the people that are your age, it feels like.
Maybe that just means that the old politicians, I know this is crazy to say, the old politicians that just do it forever, maybe that'll be less a thing because they just won't be able to keep up with having to cater to the younger folks.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. One that's got texted in a lot, malls. I don't know if I buy it. I was at the mall on Saturday, and it was popping off.
I think we hit the low point of malls, and I feel like they're hitting whatever bounce back they're
back.
Get. Yeah,
malls are back. I was at a mall on Saturday. I couldn't navigate the even area that it was. It was hard for me to move around because there were so many people.
Zach says there's online banks, and they're fine until you need to get something fixed. I think Zach works at a bank.
Feels as if.
Yeah.
Let me bias, but I think also I do get annoyed trying to fix things online.
Yeah, that is true.
When you want to get in there face to face.
Uh-huh.
How about this one? Workplace loyalty.
Oh yeah, nobody does that. But is that a generational thing, or is that just an age thing? Which are different. Like once you hit 40, are you like, yeah, I'm just happy here?
I don't know.
Or are people that are 25 now always going to be upset with their job?
It just
always leaving.
It feels as if the mode now is if you aren't, you should. They say at least online that you should leave your job every 2 years if you want to raise.
Wow.
That's what they say.
That's aggressive.
That's what they say. You should leave your job every 2 years if you want to continue to climb the ladder. But if you're content with how much you make now,
yeah,
you can stay in your job.
Lots of good answers here. Stuff that's going to die out as boomers die out. 8772 Radio U.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Isaiah, I don't know if you've been following what's going on with the royal family as of late. You seem like you might dabble in the monarchy.
Feels like there's always something going on with them, doesn't it? Always a little bit of drama.
There's always something because there always has to be something. But right now, it feels a little more chaotic than usual because conspiracy theories have been running rampant because Princess Kate Middleton. She's been, or is she a princess, duchess? I don't know how it works. She's married to Prince William. She has been not seen very much as of late. Apparently, she had abdominal surgery, but she has gotten into a firestorm and fueled even more conspiracy theories because on Sunday in the UK, it was Mother's Day. She posted out a photo on Twitter of her with her 3 kids. And at first glance, if you or I were looking at this photo, it would just scroll by. It'd be like, oh, that's nice, whatever. But people, because it's the royal family, noticed that there were some inconsistencies in the photo. And all told, I believe they found 18 different things in the photo that didn't look quite right. Now, she has since come out after being accused of all this and saying, oh, it was just a bad photoshopping job. I was just a mom who wanted to make the picture look nice. I guess I'm not very good at editing photos. But people aren't exactly buying that the Princess of Wales is trying to edit her own photos and allowed to post them on Twitter. Where do you fall in all this? And I mean, I'm just throwing you in because you're no royal family expert, but is she allowed to post her own pictures on Twitter?
She can post whatever she wants to post. The question is this a real photograph? People are saying that this isn't even a real photo.
Yeah.
That the kids are all photoshopped in.
Uh-huh.
They never took this photo because the rumors swirling right now are that there's possibly troubles in the marriage.
Yeah.
She possibly hasn't been around the kids.
Picture doesn't seem to show a wedding ring, which is questionable for sure.
There are also some people are even conspiracizing that she may be having serious health issues. People have even thrown out that she could possibly be in a coma.
Yeah. That feels pretty extreme.
Feels extremely extreme.
Yeah.
To go to these lengths. But at the same time, I feel like her mistake was posting a clearly Photoshopped photo.
Yeah.
When you know there's already rumors swirling about you of why you haven't really been in the public eye as of late, since you are the Princess of Wales. If there are issues going on, it might have been best to just not post the photo, come back in a couple months and say, oh, I was just taking a break from social media.
Yeah. I mean, she's been around the royal family and been married. I mean, she has 3 kids with William. She's been with them for a long time. She knows the deal that everything you ever do is going to be scrutinized, right? So it's surprising to me. It's just a whole lot of questions swirling because it feels like, knowing that, why would you post a picture that was clearly photoshopped? And I do find it hard to believe that she's photoshopping her own pictures. You're the Princess of Wales, then you don't have a team for that. You don't have somebody whose job it is to make all your pictures look pretty before you post them out. It's very questionable. But I mean, I don't want to run all the way to conspiracy theory, but it's just an odd situation that this would be posted out, that somebody wouldn't have stopped this before it actually reached social media when it comes straight from her account.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, it's a pretty obvious Photoshop job. I mean, you can clearly see it looks like there's someone else that's supposed to be in the photo. Yeah. Possibly there's like a stray hand that's coming out of nowhere. It's an obvious Photoshop job from other pictures, or maybe they Photoshopped somebody out. I don't know. Either way, bad on Kate Middleton. Just don't post the photo.
Yeah, I can't keep up with those royal family stuff. This right here, this is enough for me.
Do yourself a favor and follow The Riot on Instagram at RadioU Riot.
Recently, but we had at one of our local Targets here a 12-year-old boy who spent the night and was found there the next morning.
Sounds like a fun little night.
Maybe he ran away. I guess the good news is
less fun night.
Yeah. He ran away, and I guess the place he's like, I'm going to Target. Since then, he apparently has been reunited with his parents, so hopefully happy ending. But it did have me thinking, if you were 12 years old and you were going to spend the night in the store, which store are you going to?
Target's a pretty good pick.
Is it?
There's a lot of great snacks there.
There's Starbucks. You can fire yourself up an espresso. There's
also lots of chairs to sit in, some little furniture pieces as well.
They have furniture at Target?
I think they've got some chairs.
They probably got cribs, I bet.
Oh, they for sure got cribs.
You can sleep in a crib.
They have to have some little couches in there. I'd like to think.
I don't know, yeah.
Either way.
Is that what your first thought is, though, when you're a child anyway? If you're 12 years old, are you thinking, I need a place with good furniture?
You need a place with good furniture. You need a place where you can get some food. You're going to stay there the whole night.
Uh-huh.
And those are the 2 main things. I mean, what else do you need?
Video games. Target. Do they have video? They got a lot of TVs.
They have video games, yeah.
Can you play them?
But you can't play them.
Yeah, they're probably locked up. The games are locked up. So what else? What would be another good spot as a 12-year-old?
Walmart.
Walmart might be. I like Target better as a store. Walmart might be a better locale because I just feel like they have more selection, more
bigger
variety of stuff. Yeah.
Lots more places to hide, too, if you want to stay the night.
True. And while Target has some good snacks, a lot of Targets have, obviously, the Starbucks. They also have the Pizza Hut. But Walmart, you're talking Auntie Anne's. So in many of the Walmarts that I've been to anyways. So that's a pretty good option as well, in addition to the entire grocery section.
Did you ever run away?
No.
You never ran away?
No, I didn't run away.
You're telling me that you never, threatened running away?
No.
I did once.
You did?
Yes,
did you actually
of course
go through
I did.
It? You ran away?
I think I was 8.
Uh-huh.
I lived in the middle of nowhere in the country.
That's why I couldn't have run away even if I wanted to.
It was impossible.
Yeah.
I think I packed a bag. I remember packing a bag.
Oh, you packed a bag.
Of course, I was dramatic, when I'm still dramatic now. I packed a small backpack. I don't know what I put in it. Probably almost nothing. I made it to
snacks, probably.
Some things.
Yeah, Funyuns.
I made it to the end of the driveway, I think. Maybe I got onto my little dead end road that I lived on.
Yeah.
And that's as far as I got.
Did you use your bike or?
No, on foot.
On foot.
On foot, of course.
You wouldn't get far on foot.
And yet again, I lived in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
It would have been a far trek for me to get to the end of my road.
Yeah.
My driveway was kind of long.
That's why I really couldn't have ever run away if I ever wanted to. Because even if I was on a bike, even if I could drive, I don't know where I'd go. It was so far away from anything. I wouldn't have found any place to spend the night.
What would be the closest place that I could run away to where there's a business? The closest one I could get to, maybe a Kroger. I could get to Kroger.
You could have got to Kroger. How long would that have taken you?
Probably 4 hours.
On foot. I know my dad's, the greenhouse that he worked at was the closest thing. So I could have ran away to the greenhouse, which who wants to stay the night there? And then my dad would have found me.
He's going to find you.
Yeah, when he came to work. If he came to work, he might have been looking for me.
That's true.
Don't run away when you're a child.
This is a horrible
idea. If there's any
idea.
children listening, don't run away.
It's a horrible
idea.
idea.
Doesn't make any sense.
You don't always have to agree with Isaiah to always disagree with Hudson. The Riot. Radio U.
It's Love 'em or Leave 'em on The Riot. You guys text in at 8772 Radio U. And we need to decide whether you love them or leave them. Relationship advice helping you guys work the windy turnpike of love.
Oh, one of my favorite turnpikes.
And in this one, we have a workaholic involved. Couldn't be us, Hud.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So this is a man that's a little bit upset with his wife. He is 29 years old. She's also 29. He says, my wife is a workaholic. I don't think there's any other way to phrase it. Not only is she a workaholic, but she cannot keep still. She has to be doing something all the time. At first, she would apologize and say she had a lot going on. It developed to this being the norm. And I started talking to her about it, and she'd say she wouldn't notice working that much, and she would apologize. But recently, she stopped feeling like she should apologize at all, and that this is normal. Also, I do note that I work less hours and make more than enough for both of us. I make more than double what she makes. I know her work friends quite well. They tell me she is always volunteering for extra work. Her manager once told her that she does not need as many accounts as she has, and she should give some to others. Recently, I broke when my mother was in town, and she kept saying she wanted us all to meet for dinner. Twice did we schedule dinner, and then my wife would work until 8 or 9 p.m., completely missing the dinner. I just feel stuck. We have been married for 2 years and together for 6. I love her dearly, but I cannot deal with coming in second place.
Oh, this is tough. How do you get out of this? How do you work your way out of this one?
Love him or leave him.
Yeah.
What do you do in this situation?
This one, I think of all the love them or leave thems we've done so far, this is where more people will be on the love them side.
You think so?
But I think so, yeah. But I think because it's less of a moral thing and more of a just priorities thing. But I think that we still need some good advice. Like, how do you get her to change your ways?
To quit working so much.
Yeah.
To come home earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 or 9 p.m., you're getting home and I'm going to bed. We're not even hanging out.
Yeah.
Taking on extra work. And the big thing for me, too, he says he makes enough for both of them.
Yeah.
And twice as much as she makes.
And working less hours.
Way less hours.
Yeah. All right. Let's get some advice for this couple. 8772 Radio U. Let us know your thoughts here on this. Love them or leave them.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
In the midst of love them or leave them, we've got a workaholic situation here in this relationship. Isaiah, give a quick explanation here.
Husband is upset with his wife. They've been together for 2 years. And he says that she picks up work all the time. She's always staying late. He feels like he is not being prioritized whatsoever. She's constantly volunteering for extra work. He also says that he makes twice as much money as she does, and enough to support both of them by himself. He's very upset that she's constantly missing dinners with his family. They have no children together, but is always getting home around 8 or 9 o'clock at night and is very tired.
We got some good advice here in from Philip, who said he's been known to be considered a workaholic a time or two in life. And he says that it's the character trait of somebody because they're trying to fill a need. Sometimes the need is appreciation. Sometimes the need is pride. Sometimes the need is just to be needed. He says that this guy should sit down with his wife and have a good talk to figure out what is the root cause of her workaholism. That's pretty good advice. Figure out why she's a workaholic. Regina also says, isn't this what we're all thinking? That it's awesome that her boss wants her to work less. Wishes that was her boss. She says her husband has to tell her a few times for her and a coworker to dial it back a little bit, or a coworker had to say that as well. A serious conversation is in order to find out if she's avoiding him for some reason. But your marriage should always be more important than your work, according to Regina. That's what I was thinking. As you laid it out the second time, I started to think, could it be maybe she's not doing all that work?
Oh, you're thinking she's just staying at the office just to stay at the office?
Or affair.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
I don't want to put thoughts in this guy's head because he's already going through enough. But I mean, how do you know? How do you know she's working? I don't want to raise suspicions, although I just did. But let's just, assuming that it is the workaholism that is the case here, I feel like I also always feel like giving ultimatums is a bad tactic because if nothing else, you could get the answer that you don't want, that she'd rather work than be married to you.
Fine.
But I feel like you should at least know that. Like if she's missing out on family meals and stuff, that's getting out of hand. But I also think, I don't know how this helps solve anything. Maybe she's just one of those people that always likes to be busy. And so she takes on all this work just because she doesn't want to be sitting around at home. And so even though that's with you, because if she's at home, she's not busy. She feels useless. I guess that's still, I don't know how much that adds, but I feel like that is something to take into account. So maybe find ways around home to make her feel busy, make her feel like she's getting stuff done, even if it's with you and not at work.
Like some projects, maybe some home projects.
Sure, yeah.
I think also, for me in this one, you need to sit her down and number one, ask her what her end goal is. Are you looking for a promotion? Are you looking for a pay raise? Why are you working these long hours? Mm-hmm. Are you working them just to work them? Because if you're working them just to work them, then that's fine. You can do that, but you're not going to do that with me because I'm not okay with that. Mm-hmm. Because clearly this guy is not okay with his wife getting home at 9 o'clock. This is clearly a huge issue for him.
Yeah.
He's 29 years old. They have no children. Mm-hmm. They've been together for 6 years. They've been married for 2. Mm-hmm. I think that you need to sit her down and have a serious conversation. If she's not willing to change, then are you going to live the rest of your, let's see, you're 29 years old, your next 60 years, is this how you want to live it? If it is, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But that's a question you have to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Is this the way you want to live it if she's not willing to change? Because it's not like she's going to stop working next year or in 10 years or in 20 years. She might retire in 40 years.
Right.
How long are you willing to live this way? If you're not willing to live this way, that's fine. But you're 29 years old in the prime of your life. You got to start asking serious questions.
Yeah. And it seems, I mean, if they're married, I feel like they got a good shot of working it out. But this is, you've got an ultimatum is extreme, but the choices have to be laid out here. We just cannot keep doing it this way because if it's not selfish, you're gonna have to explain to me why is what it feels like to me. But that's a tough conversation to have.
There's never been a can of worms they didn't open. The Riot, Radio U.
You've seen this viral video going around on TikTok of a woman who has a pet cat, and she claims that the maintenance workers at her apartment that have been doing renovations on her apartment sealed her cat inside the wall. Look at this. I mean, the cat is assuredly trapped in the wall. She tried calling the emergency maintenance line. They didn't answer.
They never answer, do they?
No, so she had to call 911, and then she had to dig out the cat with I don't know what kind of tool she's using, but she had to.
It's like she has a knife.
Make a hole in a wall to let the cat out, and obviously very upsetting. Fortunate that the cat was able to escape the wall. What a wild situation. How does that happen?
Yeah, like what were these guys doing? They didn't notice the cat. Maybe, but think about this though.
Mm-hmm.
Cats hide.
Yeah,
they probably didn't know.
I'm sure that they didn't know. I'm curious how she figured out. I mean, it wouldn't be difficult to go to normal feeding time for the cat, and it doesn't show up. Then you would start to wonder. But how did she discover that the cat was in the wall in the first place?
Oh, you hear it meowing.
You can hear it through that wall?
I'm sure your cat, once it realized it was trapped in there, probably started reacting.
Yeah.
However cats react. Letting out little meows.
Mm-hmm.
Little
started
screeches.
Yowling.
Yes.
That's kind of what cats do.
And then you try to get it. I mean, and it feels as if you get your cat out of there pretty quick.
Yeah.
Imagine calling 911 for that, though.
Yeah, I don't. That's a
That's
a borderline.
What's your emergency?
My
cat trapped in the wall.
How to get in there? Oh, the maintenance workers.
Who do you send for that?
Yeah.
Do you send firefighters? Do you send the police?
Which team do you send to get the
how
cat
do you
out
discern?
of the wall? Yeah.
Do you send like your GA down the hall? Do you send like some sort of intern?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, on this one you got to go. We can't send the police for this. You got to go down there. Take a hammer with you.
Yeah. And then how do you safely get the cat out? How did she know? Like she was sticking a knife in the wall. How did she know she wasn't going to
poke the cat?
Yeah, that's right. She was poking in there blind. I'll tell you the other thing I think about this, and people aren't going to like this, is this shows why dogs are better than cats.
Whoa.
What?
How?
Because your dog would never get trapped in a wall.
Well, cats are scared. They're hidden.
Yeah. They're too timid. And they're too passive. A dog would never let this happen. A dog would never hide in a wall in the first place, and then a dog would never get trapped in a wall. It would make its presence known very quickly.
A sweet little kitten.
Yeah.
Stuck beyond the wall, and you're shaming her for it.
Yes.
Wrong.
Do yourself a favor and follow The Riot on Instagram at RadioU Riot.
My first one. Last night, I had a big win. I had a huge win. For a grown man, the Men's League Basketball Playoffs. My team moved on to the next round. Believe it or not, I can kind of ball. Last night, guess how many points I scored? To propel us in the playoffs.
6?
I had 2.
2 points? You're an integral part.
And one. Missed the free throw. That's and I don't like it. But we move on. We play again tonight.
It's the playoffs.
Yeah, play again tonight. If we win, we move on. Play again. Our team, not very good. We're like middle of the road, okay? But if you're able to still move around and play sports, you should play Men's League sports because it's fun.
That's just so exciting.
It makes like a Tuesday night real exciting.
Yeah.
Like we won last night against a bunch of other like older guys that are just playing like we all suck. Like we're all terrible. But it makes it fun. It makes it very fun. So had a good old night last night.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
I'll start with a dislike then. You may have noticed today I'm in shorts. It's a little cool for shorts, Well, my problem isn't with the weather. My problem is with my pants. My jeans developed a hole. My good jeans have developed a hole. I caught it early on. I don't think anybody's the wiser, but I don't know if this happens to you with your pants. My jeans, I usually only have one, like the MVP jeans, and I have other jeans. And some people might be like, why don't you buy more than one? I don't usually need more than one until one breaks, and one just broke. But the hole always develops in the same part, and it's where the four stitches come together, right? In the groin region. The
crotch?
Yeah.
That's a bad spot to get a hole.
Yeah, it's not like it's in the knees. So I'm in need of some jeans. I'm going to have to go shopping. But in the meantime, I'm wearing shorts. So that's a dislike.
I remember when they first invented chocolate. I always hated it.
Over the weekend, I had a dislike. I felt old. I felt real old this past weekend, which is new for me. Because I don't usually feel old. People don't make me feel old. I'm a pretty young guy.
Wait a minute. Over the weekend, when you were at your grandmother's 90th birthday party, you felt old.
Not at my grandma's birthday party. I was hanging out at my parents' toy store, and we have a lot of high schoolers who work there, right?
Oh, got it.
And I was talking to them. For whatever reason, Pauly D and Jersey Shore came up.
Yeah.
You know Pauly D and Jersey Shore.
I'm familiar.
They had never heard of Jersey Shore or Pauly D. And then I went on to list like other people.
Yeah.
And it felt like every time I tried to make a pop culture reference, they were like, who's that? How long ago did that happen?
Come on.
I don't know who that is. And so then that made me feel old, and I was discouraged. It was one of those times when you're embarrassed around young people because you feel like an old person. Mm-hmm. And I haven't had that experience very much in my life.
Well, you're still pretty young.
I feel like I should be able to be pretty relatable.
Yeah.
I was not relatable.
Here's the problem with you is that for me, I can make old pop culture references, and I go way back before I was ever born. You don't have that cachet. You only have the stuff since you were born, so when you do mention stuff that's older than the people you're talking to, it feels out of place.
It feels horrible. Yeah. I did not like it.
No, sir. I didn't like it.
I'll end on an optimistic note. This is a cautiously optimistic note. What I like, there seems to be a new coffee maker here at RadioU.
I saw that one.
And I'm optimistic because the coffee drinking population at RadioU has dwindled over time. Now that I don't even know if anybody else drinks it because even you have slowed down. Many of my fellow coffee drinkers have let their coffee consumption slip, or they've started like buying it or making it at home. And so it's really just me. And I make a pot every morning, and I feel like I'm the only one who drinks it. This one that makes individual cups of coffee, it seems. Which is probably why they got it, because I was wasting coffee making a pot every morning for everybody when everybody is me.
If coffee drinking skyrockets, you know the reason why is because nobody liked the coffee you were making.
Yeah.
If everybody can make their own cup and they start making it every day, you know that everybody slowly drifted away from the coffee because they didn't like your coffee.
I guess so, but I like that we have a new one because it makes individual cups, and we do have a French press here and stuff, but that's too much work while I'm at work. I'm trying to get actual work done, not waste time making coffee. So I like it.
I got 3 words for you. You like that?
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.